The final days of the year brought a sense of finality and new beginnings to Odugbo. The rainy season subsided, leaving behind a clear sky that shimmered with promise. Tegeri's farm was flourishing more than ever, and his family, though still in the process of healing, was beginning to settle into a new rhythm. His children, Dangana, Baje, Dane, had all found their own path, and while their relationship with 𝗟𝗲𝗳𝗏 remained complicated, there was a faint glimmer of hope that things were improving. But the healing process was not without its challenges. There were moments when the ghosts of the past would rear their heads, especially when 𝗟𝗲𝗳𝗏 tried too hard to prove herself. Her attempts at reconciliation fell too forced at times, and it was clear that not all wounds could heal overnight. Tegeri, in particular, still struggled to completely let go of the pain she had caused, though he no longer let it define his actions. The turning point came unexpectedly one afternoon when 𝗪𝗏𝗧 was walking through the fields. The air was thick with the scent of freshly tilled earth, and his mind wandered back to the days when his dream had first started: to build a life for his family, to give his children the opportunity he never had. Yet, despite all the hard work, the sacrifices, and the heartache, he realized something important. He had succeeded, not because of the wealth he had accumulated, but because of the people who remained in his life. His children, despite everything, had grown strong and capable. Dangana, now a young man, had returned to Lokoja with a renewed sense of responsibility. He was determined to finish his studies, but he made a promise to return during the holidays, to continue helping his father with the farm and the business. Dane, ever perspective, had begun to take a more active role in their mother's healing process, while Baje, though distant, was showing signs of his own quiet growth. But it was 𝗟𝗲𝗪𝗏's unexpected gesture that would prove to be the true turning point for the family. It's been months since 𝗟𝗲𝗪𝗏's return, and though she had done everything in her power to repair the rift she had caused, her actions still hadn't fully earned her place in the family again. Tegeri has been distant, not because he didn't care, but because he was afraid of trusting her too easily. His heart, after all, had been broken, and trust was a currency he no longer had in abundance. One evening, as Tegeri was returning from the market in Kaba, he noticed 𝗟𝗲𝗪𝗏 standing by the gate, waiting for him. Her face was etched with concern, and as he approached, he saw the faint glint of something unspoken in her eyes. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Tegeri stopped in his track, his heart pounding. "What is it?" 𝗟𝗲𝗪𝗏 took a deep breath. "I know I have no right to ask this of you. I have done so much damage, and I can't undo the past. But I have realized something. The children, they need stability. They need to see us as a family, not just in name, but in spirit. I have spent so long trying to make up for my mistakes, but I think I've been going about it the wrong way. I need to earn your trust, not by talking, but by showing you that I'm committed to this family for good. That's all I ask, for you to let me try. Again." Tegeri stared at her, his chest tight with conflicting emotions. Here was the woman who had abandoned him, the woman who had caused so much pain, now standing before him, vulnerable and remorseful. But as he looked at her, something shifted. It was as though, after all the years of pain and separation, they had finally arrived at a place where the past no longer had the power to control them. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you completely, 𝗟𝗲𝗪𝗏," Tegeri said quietly, "but I'm willing to let you try." A wave of relief passed over her face, and she nodded, tears in her eyes. "That's all I can ask for." It was a small moment, but it marked a profound shift in their relationship. Tegeri did not expect everything to be perfect overnight, but for the first time in years, he felt a sense of peace settle over him. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one where forgiveness and healing were possible, not just for 𝗟𝗲𝗵𝗿, but for him as well. As the year came to an end, Tegeri found himself sitting by the fire with his children. The sky was darker than usual, but the warmth from the flame illuminated their faces, casting flickers of light that danced like memories. 𝗟𝗲𝗵𝗿 and 𝗵𝗲𝗄 were deep in conversation, discussing their plans for the future, while Dangana, who had returned for the holidays, sat quietly, taking in the moment. "You know, Abba," 𝗟𝗲𝗵𝗿 said, her voice thoughtful, "I think we have all changed, not just because of what happened with Mama, but because of everything we have been through together." Tegeri smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "We have been through a lot, that's for sure." "Do you really think Amma changed?" 𝗵𝗲𝗄 asked, his tone still guarded. Tegeri looked at his son, his eyes softening. "I think she's trying, and sometimes that's all we can ask for." The conversation drifted to other matters: plans for the coming year, ideas for expanding the farm, and the possibility of sending Daniel to Lokoja to pursue her education further. As they spoke, Tegeri realized something profound. This family, which has been torn apart by betrayal and hardship, was now stronger than ever. It wasn't the absence of pain that defined them, but the ability to move forward, to heal, and to rebuild what had been broken. That night, as Tegeri laid in bed, he thought about how far they had come. His mind wandered back to the days when he had first dreamed of a better life for his children. They had faced obstacles, they have suffered losses, but they had never given up. And now, as the future stretched out before them, Tegeri knew that they would face whatever comes next, together. In the end, it was not the wealth he had earned that mattered most, nor the farm he had built with his own hands. It was the family he had fought for, the children who had grown into capable, compassionate individuals, and the love, though tested, they still held them together. And though the journey was far from over, Tegeri felt an overwhelming sense of peace. He had come full circle. They had all come full circle.